Any conditional statement can be stated in 4 different ways. The normal way, if A, then B. The converse where it's flipped, if B, then A. The inverse, where it's negated, if not A, then not B. And the contrapositive, where it is flipped and negated, if not B, then not A. Let me show this with an example. If you are a teenager, then you are under 20 years old. The converse would be, if you are 20 years old, then you are a teenager. The inverse, if you are not under 20, if you are not a teenager, you are not under 20. And a contrapositive, if you are not under 20 years old, you are not a teenager. The normal version of this statement is true, but the converse is not. A 5-year-old is under 20 years old, but is not a teenager. The inverse is not true. The contrapositive is true. Let's make this a statement. If a conditional statement is true, the contrapositive will also be true. It's a common logical fallacy to say because a conditional statement is true, the converse must also be true. You wouldn't say, look at a 5-year-old and say, you're under 20 years old, you must be a teenager. But of course, this implies that the conditional statement is true to begin with. Take the statement, all birds can fly. A contrapositive of this would be, if it can fly, it's not a bird. But this is not true, because not all birds can fly. And going back to my example of a conditional statement, I can look at a 5-year-old, I can look at a 14-year-old and say, you're under 20 years old, so you must be a teenager. I've used the converse of the statement, but have arrived at a correct conclusion. Bye.